Hey everyone. All right, so it's time for another Q&A. I took a bunch of your questions. I'm going to read them off. We're going to dig right in. So the first question comes from Joshua Kuo. And Joshua, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. So Joshua is asking, do you think that Disneyland and California Adventure is changing too much / quickly? Well, Joshua, this is a great question. Okay, so it's kind of a two-parter. Do I think it's changing too much? No, I don't. You know, Disneyland was built with this idea, this vision from Walt Disney that it would be this sandbox where, you know, creatives can play in it, and it's an ever-evolving, ever-changing entity. It's never, like he says, it's never completed. It's never finished. So change is the one thing that's the constant for Disneyland. Okay, Disneyland is more than just the brick and mortar buildings. If you were to take down an element or two, or even a lot of the elements of Disneyland, and put something else in there, it's still Disneyland. Because Disneyland's an idea. It's an idea where you can go and you can experience themed, you know, environments. You can go to a different time period and time travel and go to different worlds and different, you know, whatever the case is. That's what Disneyland is. It's more than just the physical buildings. So no, I don't think it's changing too much. I think it's changing. The change is what Walt wanted. The change is what the park was designed to do. It was designed to change. Walt didn't build the Walt Disney Museum. He built Disneyland, and he said it would never be completed as long as there's imagination left in the world. So that change is honoring that man's vision. Okay, I would be extremely upset, and it would be a complete slap in the face to Walt Disney's vision if that park, even California Adventure, you know, stagnated and they didn't change. That's not what Walt wanted. We don't have to like every single change, okay? I'm not here to say you have to love every single thing that changes. I don't love everything they do. I don't love everything they change. But the idea of change should be embraced. We should celebrate that. That's what Walt built this park for, to change, to evolve. Like I said, it's a sandbox that the creatives can play in and constantly tweak and change and work with. So, is it changing too much? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I love the change. It's exciting. This is what Walt wanted. I love it. So no, it's not changing too much. Now, the second part of your question, is it changing too quickly? That's a good question. And that one, I kind of might say yes. I think changing too quickly is definitely a valid point. Now, in Florida, it doesn't really apply too much because they have what we call the blessing of size. So they have pretty much endless room to do whatever they want. So they can expand as quickly as they want. It really doesn't matter. In Anaheim, we don't have that room to do that. So the acreage and the areas that we expand in, once we exhaust those areas, you know, where do you go? Where do you expand to? I mean, look at California Adventure. Once they build Marvel Land, assuming they're going to build, you know, Marvel Land also behind, you know, Mission Breakout in that acreage behind that attraction, there's nowhere really to go then in terms of expansion, right? It's pretty much locked in. So that's a perfect example. Even Disneyland Park, I mean, after Galaxy's Edge, where do you go? Where do you expand? So too quickly? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they are moving a little too fast in terms of their expansion. But that does worry me. It does. I will admit that. It does worry me. I worry, where are they going to go after all these new lands? After Galaxy's Edge, after Marvel, where are they going to go? We'll see. But great question. Really fantastic question. Thank you so much, Joshua. Okay, so the next question, excuse me, I apologize, comes from Disney Life. What new project, ride, land are you most looking forward to, land, world, and why? Well, thank you, Disney Life. I do appreciate the question. The project that I'm looking forward to the most is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I am. And the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in California. California, and I've said it many times, and that's why this channel is focused on Disneyland Resort in California. That's my home park. That's the park I grew up with. I was a little kid. I grew up in this park. I love it, and it's familiar to me. So I honestly am the most invested into this park. So Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland is my most anticipated addition or project coming up. It is. Second place would go to Marvel Land, because I'm very curious on a couple of things with Marvel Land. How are they gonna approach Marvel? You know, we've seen it a little bit, just a taste of it with, you know, Mission Breakout, but I'm really curious how Disney approaches Marvel from the ground up. Not an overlay, from the ground up, how they build a Marvel land. I'm curious about that. I'm also curious on how they tie this whole area, this whole Marvel themed area, into California Adventure. Are they gonna go the California route? Is it gonna be the Marvel characters in California? Are they gonna abandon the California theme? There's so many questions with Marvel Land, so I'm very, very excited for that as well. But number one, it's Galaxy's Edge, hands down. I am super excited for this area. I cannot wait for Galaxy's Edge. But thank you so much for the question. I do appreciate it. And the next question comes from Bank Boss 3. And Bank Boss 3 is asking, this might be an idea for a video. If Pixar Pier were to prove itself successful, what would you like to add to it? What would you do to Paradise Park and the Little Mermaid attraction? Personally, I'm not a fan of the Inside Out ride. That is the Flix Flyers attraction now. And I would like an Inside Out dark ride instead, maybe Ratatouille. What are your thoughts? Well, Bank Boss, thank you for the question. It's a great question. So what are my feelings on a Pixar Pier expansion? What would I want to add? Well, right out the gate, I want to say Coco. Coco, Coco, Coco. Coco was one of those movies. I loved this movie. Loved it. Okay, it's a masterpiece. And the thing that was really great about Coco, in regards to California Adventure, is that it's sort of, there's multiple reasons why it fits this park so perfectly. Coco is rooted, obviously, in Mexican culture. So is California. It's a perfect attraction for that reason to come to California Adventure. On top of that, it's Pixar, so it fits perfectly in Pixar Pier. So Coco, to me, has two big reasons why it belongs in California Adventure. And I don't want to see, when Coco, it's such a gorgeous movie. I don't want to see just like a Coco spinner or something like that. I want to see a really immersive, gorgeously detailed Coco dark ride. I do. That's what I want to see at California Adventure. So you're probably asking, where would you put it? Well, there's a couple spots. There is some room behind California Screamin', soon to be the Incredicoaster. There is some room behind there that they could fit a show building. Or, honestly, I'd be fine if they expanded Pixar Pier out a little bit and they got rid of that Paradise Garden Grill beer garden area. I mean, it's essentially a food court. I would much rather have a Coco dark ride there. So that's what I would do with Pixar Pier in terms of adding something to that, area. In terms of Mermaid and that whole other area, other side of the lagoon, I wouldn't want them to touch that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't want them to change that to Pixar Pier. Little Mermaid is an incredibly important film to the Walt Disney Company. Okay, Little Mermaid really did save the company. And when it came out, it saved animation. It kicked off the entire Renaissance era. it saved the company. It's a movie that really has a whole lot of importance to it, and it deserves a big signature ride in a Disney park. So I do not want to see Little Mermaid, you know, rethemed to Nemo or something Pixar. That whole back area, Pixar Park, I don't want them to touch. I don't want Pixar to encroach on that. So I don't want Pixar to go there. But in terms of expanding Pixar Pier, I am open for that. And I would be okay with them putting like maybe like a Coco dark ride where that Paradise Grill area is, or even behind Screamin'. I think Coco would be a fantastic choice for California Adventure. Thank you so much, Bank Boss. I do appreciate the question. And the next question comes from Oak View Films. And he's asking, my favorite Disney film of all time is The Lion King. Unfortunately, it has been poorly represented in the parks. I agree, by the way, in my opinion. If you were tasked with designing a ride based on The Lion King, what ride system would you use? Which land would you set it in? And what would it be about? Oakview, this is a fantastic question. First of all, I completely agree with you. The Lion King has been like criminally underrepresented in the parks, okay? I mean, this is the most epic Disney animated film they ever did. It was the king of all animated films for a long time in terms of box office. It really needs more representation in the parks. So to answer your question, what type of ride would I want to see Lion King? Well, Lion King is an epic movie on a huge scale. From the moment you watch the movie, from the beginning of the film, it's vast. You know, you see the Pride Lands and the music and everything is huge, right? That's the kind of feeling that the attraction, in my opinion, should invoke. It should feel vast and big and massive on scope. So what I would want is a dark ride on the scale of like an Indiana Jones adventure, okay? You can even utilize the same kind of Jeeps, like you're going on a safari. You would go through, there'd be massive practical effects, massive sets. They could even utilize some projection mapping and screens if they wanted to really add to it. But I think that's the kind of scale, that's the kind of scope of attraction Lion King needs. It needs that big, you need to, when you're in a Lion King ride, it can't be like Pinocchio or Snow White over at Disneyland. It can't be small and intimate like that. It has to be this grand, big thing when you're in those Jeeps or in that ride vehicle. The music hits and you can see for a long ways, and there's just everything going on around you. That's what a Lion King ride needs to be. Now, that poses a problem for Disneyland, because really the only land that I think it would fit well in would be Adventureland. And obviously our Adventureland in Anaheim doesn't have that kind of space. So something like that would probably have to go in Animal Kingdom. But I would be all for it. Oakview, I completely agree with you. Lion King needs more representation. That is a gorgeous movie. Absolutely phenomenal film. And it really needs much more than it's gotten. So great question. Thank you so much. So that concludes this Q&A. Post more below. Post more questions below. In the next Q&A, I'll do it in a couple of weeks. I might pick one of your questions. I do appreciate, honestly, you guys, I appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. If you're on Twitter, you can also ask me some questions at OrangeGrove55. You can hit me up there, talk about Disney. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, have a magical day.